The year was 1965, and America's sweetheart was dying in plain sight. Judy Garland, the woman who once sang over the rainbow to millions of hearts, was now trapped in a nightmare that no yellow brick road could lead her away from. What happened in those final 4 years wasn't just the story of a fallen star, it was the dark truth about how Hollywood's golden machine destroyed its brightest talents. Picture this, a small dressing room backstage at the Palace Theater in New York. The smell of old makeup mixed with desperation hung in the air. Judy sat alone, her hands trembling as she held a letter from her doctor. The year was 1967, and at just 45 years old, her body was shutting down. But here's what nobody knew at the time, what was carefully hidden from the press and her adoring fans. The letter contained test results that would change everything we thought we knew about Judy Garland's final years. Those pills she'd been taking since she was a teenager, the ones MGM Studios had forced on her to keep her thin and energetic, they weren't just diet pills. They were slowly poisoning her liver, her heart, her mind. And the most shocking part? MGM executives knew this would happen as early as 1943. Let me take you back to where it all began to unravel. In 1965, Judy was attempting what many called an impossible comeback. She'd been fired from MGM, her marriage to Sidney Luft was crumbling, and creditors were literally chasing her across the country. But there was something else, something that her closest friend, pianist and composer Roger Edens, would only reveal decades later in a sealed interview. During those dark months, Judy discovered a box of documents in her mother's old belongings. Inside were contracts, medical records, and studio memos that painted a horrifying picture. From the age of 16, when she first walked onto the MGM lot, the studio had systematically controlled every aspect of her life. They gave her amphetamines to keep her awake for 18-hour filming days, then barbiturates to help her sleep. They controlled her diet so strictly that she was literally starving while filming The Wizard of Oz. But here's where the story takes an even darker turn. In 1966, while performing at the London Palladium, Judy suffered what appeared to be a nervous breakdown on stage. The newspapers reported it as exhaustion, but the truth was far more sinister. A recently discovered telegram from a MGM executive to a London doctor reads, "Patient must continue performing regardless of condition. Studio interests paramount." Now, imagine discovering this just weeks before your wedding. What would you do? Tell us in the comments below. The real Judy Garland of these final years wasn't the broken woman the tabloids portrayed. According to Mickey Deans, who would become her fifth and final husband, she spent countless nights writing in journals, documenting not just her pain, but her fierce determination to expose what Hollywood had done to her and countless other young performers. One particular journal entry from March 1968 reads, "They turned me into a machine when I was just a child. But I'm still here, and I'm going to tell the truth, even if it kills me." That entry was written just 14 months before her death, and it reveals a woman fighting not just for her life, but for justice. The autumn of 1968 brought what many considered Judy's final chance at redemption. She was cast in a low-budget film that would never see release, but the experience gave her something she'd been denied for decades: creative control. For 6 weeks, she arrived on set every day, sober and determined. The director, a young unknown named Peter Sellers' protege, later said that watching Judy work was like witnessing a wounded warrior finding her sword again. But the studio system wasn't done with her yet. Anonymous phone calls threatened to shut down production if she didn't return to her old destructive habits. Someone was literally sabotaging her final attempt at a clean start. The question that haunts us still, who wanted Judy Garland to fail so badly that they'd destroy her last hope? You'll soon discover that the answer lies in a secret that Hollywood has kept buried for over 50 years. In January 1969, just months before her death, Judy made a decision that would shock everyone who knew her. She contacted an investigative journalist and arranged to meet him at a small cafe in London's Chelsea district. What she told him that cold winter morning would have brought down some of the most powerful men in Hollywood, but the interview was never published. The journalist mysteriously disappeared, and his notes weren't found until 2003 in a storage unit in Los Angeles. Those notes revealed that Judy had collected evidence of systematic abuse, financial fraud, and medical malpractice spanning 3 decades of Hollywood history. She had names, dates, and documents that proved young performers were being deliberately addicted to drugs to maintain studio control. She was planning to expose it all. The final months of 1969 paint a picture of a woman racing against time. Stay with me because what happened next will change everything you thought you knew about her death. On June 22, 1969, Judy Garland was found dead in the bathroom of her London home. The official cause, accidental overdose of barbiturates. But here's what the coroner's report didn't mention: there were no pills found in her stomach, and her blood levels suggested the drugs had been administered differently than through normal ingestion. Mickey Deans later revealed in a private interview that 3 days before her death, Judy had received a phone call that left her terrified. She told him, "They're not going to let me tell the truth, Mickey. They're going to make sure I never can." When he asked who they were, she just shook her head and whispered, "The same people who stole my childhood." Which side do you believe, the official story or the hidden documents? Tell us below. The real tragedy of Judy Garland's final years isn't just that Hollywood destroyed a talented woman, it's that her death silenced the voice that could have protected countless other young performers from the same fate. Her journals, her evidence, her courage to speak truth to power, all of it died with her on that June morning in 1969. But perhaps her greatest legacy isn't the songs she sang or the movies she made. Perhaps it's the reminder that behind every shining star, there's a human being fighting battles we may never fully understand. I leave you with the song Judy loved to listen to during her final months, "The Man That Got Away." See you in the next video.